Nino, welcome to Locked In, man. Straight from Florida, right? You flew up from Florida?
St. Pete, Florida. St. Petersburg, Florida.
That just got hit by the hurricane, right?
Yeah, most def. They going through it down there.
And you made it out of there, I guess, just in the nick of time or right after it hit?
I think a day before. A day before, we were supposed to be going to the BET Awards, but we ended up rerouting the play. I just did Wild 'N Out in Chicago, did Wild 'N Out in New York. We did the game one, you know what I'm saying, of the WNBA finals.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've been moving around, just working.
So, did you perform there at the WNBA finals, or?
Yeah. I was on set for everything.
That's great. And you have a song with Rick Ross or music or something like that, or you're signed to his label? Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like the newest artist to sign to MMG. We kind of like, I don't know, in a way, like, I don't know what the professional term is, but it's like, it's the new wave. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of history associated with MMG, but we try to do, like, have a similar impact in this era. You know what I'm saying? So just me being familiar with, the current wave, you know what I'm saying, really being from the soil, we just it's like a relaunch almost.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's so awesome you built that after prison, because that's very inspiring to a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been messing with the music for a minute, and I had a buzz before I went in, but like the situation that led to me going in had a lot to do with my buzz, so it come with it.
Yeah,
I had to walk that time now. You know what I'm saying? I had to put that behind me, and now we back out here getting to it.
Did you grow up in Florida or out here in Florida? Okay.
We grew up in Florida. Yeah.
Where in Florida?
St. Pete, Tampa Bay area. So it's like St. Pete, Clearwater, Tampa, Bradenton, Sarasota, those cities.
That's a nice area to grow up in.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it's like it's like I don't know anywhere else where you can get that blend of like, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm fucked up by the hood shit, the street shit, and I don't know anywhere else where you can get that blend of like just like where it could be so gutter, and then you could like turn around and like duck off on the beach and catch a vibe. You feel me? Like the views, the palm trees, the sun, the water. I love it all.
It's almost like living in like a dream when like versus your reality too in a way.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not leaving. I'm fucked up about it. You feel me? It's nowhere I'd rather be.
That's awesome. So what was it like growing up? Did you have mom and dad, any siblings?
Yeah, well, my mama from Detroit. My daddy from Cleveland. They both from the Midwest. My daddy had ended up moving to Detroit and then joining the military. And my mama joined the military, so they ended up getting stationed at the same place in Louisiana. And like it was fast. Like my mama was pregnant and married within like I think 30 days of the meeting.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So they was together for a little while, and we bounced around for a minute. But when my mama got done with the military, she moved to St. Pete because that's where her support system was. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like at that time where everybody, like would retire, like where older people would retire and come to Florida. So like my mama's mama and her grandmother, which would be my great grandmother, they was all in Florida. So that's how we ended up here.
And did you have a lot of friends there growing up?
I mean, I would say, I don't know. Like I had like I kind of did because like I wasn't super popular. I never been like a popular person, but it's like I like the friendships that I do have, like they kind of run deep. You know what I'm saying? So I always had like a little clique.
How would you think people would describe you back then?
Back then?
Teenage Nino.
I don't know, like I just always been creative. I feel like people always knew I was gifted. They always knew I was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got like little things about me that's kind of like weird. I just want, like, I'm the only one to be on it. You feel me? But like people always showed me a little grace because I feel like they knew, okay, like bro, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? He working with something. You know what I'm saying? Like just creatively, I was always involved in music. I would always draw. It'd always be something. So I feel like people just kind of felt like, that's how I feel like people treated me. Like they always treated me artistically or like an artist or something like that.
Do you feel like you were kind of like the odd one out because you were creative?
Definitely. But it just always gave like chosen one, golden child. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, I was definitely like kind of like the odd one out, but in a lot of ways I feel like it was still like, in a lot of ways, it made me feel destined.
Do you think it got to your head maybe a little bit, like that you wanted to get big, fast, and that could have led you down a different route?
I mean, nah, I ain't gonna lie, like, cause it's like what I feel like I see a lot. I feel like I see a lot of street niggas that want to be rappers. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of niggas who they get in the streets, they start making money, and now that they got money, they got something to say. Now that they got money, they want to rap. But it's like because I guess their motivation to rap is to shine. Like they see the lifestyle that rappers have, and that's something that they want. So it's like now that they got the money and they feel like they could back they play, like they could fund the move, they start rapping. And with me, it was always the opposite, bro. Like I wasn't a street nigga that wanted to be a rapper. I was a rapper first, and then it's just like. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's hard to gain traction on that, where you could actually handle your responsibilities. So, just like growing up rapping and I'm not making no money. You know what I'm saying? I watched my mama lose a house. I watched my mama lose a car. I watched my mama lose a lot, and it just didn't seem like any help was coming no time soon. It still ain't came. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that I had to get active, and it was just something that I resorted to. So for me, that's kind of more what it was. Like, my preference was always to be an artist in any capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with the way that I do my music now, I'm involved in everything. It's not just the rapping side of it. I'm involved in the engineering. I'm involved in the production. I mean, yeah, in the production. I'm involved in the, like the graphic art, everything. Like, even if I'm not hands-on doing it myself, I have, like, some type of input. I have some type of vision. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like it was something that I resorted to. And then it's like, once I kind of started dealing with it and I really caught stride, I ended up doing well. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't like, it would be times where I like something to come out of me, like as far as the street shit, like something to come out of me that I didn't even know was there. Mm. You know what I'm saying? I just ended up having that skill set.
Did you know music was going to be your career? Like, did you ever have any other career ideas, or was it always music?
It was always music, except before I used to want to make cartoons. I used to draw a lot, bro. Like I had like a trading card game, kind of like Pokemon. I had a board game. I had a comic book company, like me and my little brother. My name Vaughn, his name Van, so we used to call it V&V Comics. V&V products, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, other than the rap shit, the only other thing that I ever wanted to do was make cartoons. After I transitioned into the music thing, yeah, bro, I was just all in because I felt like that was the only way I was gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? I took it very serious. I was a student of the game, though. Like, I studied this shit, I lived and breathed this shit, and I'm methodical with it. Like, I've been devoted to it for a minute, so I ain't really ever thought about doing nothing else.
Do you think that you getting into rapping and that being your passion is what got you into the drug game? Or do you think those two things were completely different?
I feel like, I feel like they were different. Like, if some kind of way, maybe like I was growing up and, like sometimes I look at people like, let's say like Kanye West, you know what I'm saying, who, like, his people had a little bit of money, but most importantly, like, his people actively supported, like, what he was doing, and he was from a city that had connections and things like that. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like if I would have came from, like, maybe, like, a family that was involved in music or a city that had an outlet for it, it might have would have been different. But it's just, like, growing up in a small city in the South, bro, like, it wasn't really realistic at the time. This before social media, this before, the DSPs and all these different platforms where people could get their music out. You know what I'm saying? So I used to be like recording in the basements and the dope holes and shit like that, and then burning the CDs and setting them at the corner store. That was the only way I had to get my face out there. So, I mean, for me, I feel like if I would have had an outlet early, I probably never would have ended up in the streets, because that's never been my passion. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just felt like if I got in the streets, I could, for one, handle my responsibilities and then end up with enough money to compensate for the fact that I didn't have that outlet. Like, okay, like, if I don't got the connections, I'm going to buy my way in, or I'm going to just do mad promo, or I'm going to pay for features, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of like more my vision.
Mm-hmm. When you look back at it now, do you wish, like, maybe you worked a normal job and did that kind of hustling while building your career?
Nah. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all out here, you know, like the pursuit of happiness, and I wake up every day, like, loving my life. Even, like, when I'm behind the wall, I felt like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this shit it's just, you don't get one without the other. You know what I'm saying? So it's beauty in the struggle. I know a lot of people who have, like, similar aspirations to me that ain't never seen what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know, like, you know, like to be a doctor, you got to go to school. When you're in the military, you might get deployed overseas. So, I mean, it's certain pros and cons that come with the streets, dog. And it's just like, for my personality, like the way that I'm built, I assessed that before I got involved with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even the bad that come with it, it's like if you a soldier that signed up for the military and you get deployed, you already, you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of anticipated that could be a possibility. So ain't nothing came with this game that I wasn't prepared for.
How old were you when you first entered the streets and that type of game?
14.
14.
Yeah, I joined all the ports at 14.
And what was that first experience like for you?
Oh, my first experience, I got a homeboy back home. He gonna know what I'm talking about too when he hear this. But you know, we kind of like wanted to fuck with it together, so we started going in on, you know, on like little ready rock, like already cooked rocks and shit like that, and like just taking the rocks, and we was getting them bitches for like $10 a piece and selling them for 20. You know what I'm saying? So we started off kind of like doing that, and then after we got our cash up a little bit, we wanted to go in on some soft, cause that's how you really win. And we ended up buying like I don't know if it was a Vic. I feel like it was like a 7 like sweet and low. Niggas sold us some fake shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the same time that we was doing that, we was doing like the burglaries and the robberies, you feel me? So it's like being young and not having transportation and access to plugs and shit like that, like, and also not just having the mental capacity. It's like, you know, when you young, you looking for instant gratification. So like, once the situation happened where we got finesse, we kind of took to that a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So when I was younger, if you look at my jacket from when I was young, I got all kind of burglary, all kind of like those type of charges. You know what I'm saying? But like my first experience was like, you know, with the dope gang, and like we kept fucking with that, but like we kind of started like leaning more towards that, and then I got in a lot of trouble for that. So then it's like I had to rearrange shit. So it's like when I got done doing the time, I ended up doing like 2 years, like real young in state prison for the B&E shit. And then you know, I came home, and what I realized, you know what I'm saying, like, it's never a good idea to make, I don't feel like it's a good idea to make that your hustle, because once you make that your hustle, you already bringing a lot of bad karma, a lot of bad energy, but also, okay, your hustle is how you eat. So it's your livelihood. If you hustle, like if you go out there and you get clientele and you got a relationship with people that hit your phone and spend money with you, you know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, you could be selling food, you could be selling t-shirts. You can't anticipate, you can build a lifestyle around that. If you build a lifestyle around like hitting a lick, or like something like that, you gonna end up putting yourself in bad situations, because in order for you to eat, you need this shit to happen like somewhat routinely. And a lot of those opportunities, at least if they sweet, they don't present themselves that often. You know what I'm saying? And that's how me and my homeboys kept going to jail, because like it was all we knew. And like sometimes we would be jumping into situations that wasn't really for us. You know what I'm saying? So like when I came home, I had to leave that shit alone. And it's like once I shifted my focus to the bag for real, you know, things started opening up for me.
Do you think if you grew up with money, you wouldn't even have dove into that because you would already experience what that, you know, taste of having money was like and getting what you wanted?
Yeah, I think it would have been different, because like I said, like I've always got more gratification. I've always felt like more like I was in my purpose when I was doing creative things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the street was something that I resorted to. And also, just being honest, like I didn't really I don't feel like I value myself or my life as much as I should have.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, just like just my thought process back then, you feel me? Like the way that I think about things now, I feel like I'm valuable. I feel like I'm an asset. So it's certain situations I would have put myself in because I know what it'll do. I know how much damage it'll do for me as well as the people that I care about. And it's like just reflecting on my thought process back then, I was so quick to jump out there and just, I don't know, it's like my mentality back then was I didn't like how I was living. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I don't like how I'm living on the streets, what the fuck I care about going to jail for? You know what I'm saying? It's like whether it's in here or out there, it's the same thing. I might as well give me some money, you know what I'm saying? At least temporarily I feel like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just a lot of mental things I had to deal with and I came up out of that. But it's like ever since like, I don't know, ever since I kind of got that together, my thought process been different. Like, yeah. Like my thought process been different. Like, I know how much value I bring to my team, how much value I bring to my family, how much value I bring to the game of my city, or even just like the experiences, like places I want to go and things I want to do. So I never do anything to take myself out of the game. Like I just think differently.
Is valuing life at that age something that could be taught, or is that something you have to learn through struggle and experience?
I think it's something that you got to learn through struggle because, like, when I reflect on it, like, more or less, I feel like a lot of people in that age group, like have similar traits, like similar behavior. Even if they don't go as far as, like, you know, getting in the streets or, you know, getting locked up necessarily, like, it's just a lot of rebellion at that age. It's just a lot of it's just like a big range of emotions. And it's like everybody kind of like, yo, I feel like you have to develop. You know what I'm saying? But like when I used to be locked up, I could just tell, you know what I'm saying, birds of a feather flock together. The niggas that used to be around me when I was 16, 15, we was all the same age and we all thought the same. We was all on the same shit. So I know them niggas didn't really assess it from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? It's like you be having like this desire. As a young nigga, you be having like this desire to like make a statement or do something big. And a lot of times if you think about like how you can leave your mark or like have a legacy or really establish a name, it's gonna take time. And it's like we don't have that, we don't see that far. You know what I'm saying? So the quickest way to make a name when you a young nigga like is that gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? So like a nigga is liable to gravitate towards the dreading or, you know what I'm saying? Like all of those type shit, cause I be feeling like a lot of times, you know, with that age group coming from the streets, when you looking for like that type of validation, we don't have access to some of the other things that might make you feel like, okay, like I'm that. So it's like, I feel like that's why a lot of young niggas gravitate towards like that type of shit because it's like just at that age group coming, like that age coming from where we coming from, we don't really know any other way to make that big statement and let the world know like I'm this is me, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like they end up going that route.
When you first got into the game, did you envision how it was going to end? Like, did you know it was going to lead to prison or maybe even death? Or was that not even a thought?
I feel like a big part of like even like being a street nigga or a gangster, anything you want to call it, bro, like it come from like you gotta have some type of audacity, bro. Like I knew that's what came with this game, but I thought I was slicker than that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I thought I was gonna be able to maneuver the game without the pitfalls. That's what I honestly thought. You know what I'm saying? Like in the back of my head, I knew I wasn't gonna go out on no sucker shit. I knew if I failed, I was gonna take my lick, but I felt like I was swift. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I was gonna go through a lot of the shit that I went through. I'm like, man, them niggas did that. Them niggas did that. This what he fucked up. This what he fucked up. I ain't doing that. So like, at least for me, I would say mostly no. Like I felt like it was gonna come with a little something, but I didn't think it was gonna come with as much as it came with.
Do you think that's where that creative mindset that you had came into play when you're analyzing the whole, it's like a chessboard life in a way, and you're looking at all that?
Nah, I just think I was like a sporty young nigga though. I just felt like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta show me. I ain't gonna learn until I get burned. I feel like that's the mentality that a lot of niggas have that when they get in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it ain't even just with the law. It could be anything. Like a nigga could be talking to me, telling me like, oh, you know, I'm cut like a nigga could come around me talking all kind of gangster shit, all kind of rah-rah shit, like he own that or like he a tough guy. I won't believe it. Like I'm just a skeptical person. You gotta show me. So it's like it was the same thing with the streets. Like I felt like I was smart. I felt like I knew how to move. So I felt like I could kind of like get the, you know, like reap the benefits of the game without too much having to go through the fuck shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought when I first jumped out though.
That first prison sentence you did at 14, do you think that made you a better criminal? Like, did it get your mind thinking about what you wanted to do?
Nah, I didn't go to jail at 14. That's just when I jumped out off the porch.
So the first breaking and entering.
Nah. Like I said, I started off hustling. I don't think I started doing the breaking and entering until 16.
But that would be your first prison sentence, right?
Yeah, so I started getting into trouble at 16. I would go to JDC, like Juvenile Department, Corrections or whatever it's called. And then I ended up doing a year like a juvenile program. I got out of the juvenile program and ended up getting in trouble again. So I went to prison at 18.
Why do you think you went from hustling the drug game to breaking and entering and then back to the drug game?
Cause like I said, like just I didn't have the resources. Like I said, like being young, it's like you gotta think about it like the drug game. That shit come with knowing people in different places, different nationalities and backgrounds, and you know, like having like, you know, it take money to make money. So like just to get in the game, you might need you 15,000, 20,000. So it's like I just didn't have that back then. Like I tried my hand with it and it didn't amount to much. Mm-hmm. It's like at least back then I could get to the money quicker that way and being being young, instant gratification. You don't have the patience to develop your hustle. You know what I'm saying? It take time to like build clientele and shit like that. So, you know, with the other game, like that shit just So that's what I felt like it was. It was the instant gratification. It was the lack of resources. Not to mention, like, just in Florida at that time, like 08, that was what Jits did. That's just what all the young niggas did, like breaking houses, steal cars, like that's just what was going on.
Why do you think that was? And why? I've heard that from so many guys about Florida is just like, huge for breaking and entering.
I don't know. It's kind of like some monkey see, monkey do type shit, bro. Like it was actually an Asian dude. My government named Vaughn. His name was Vaughn too. You know what I'm saying? So it was an Asian dude named Vaughn, and he was doing that, bro. And he came to school one day with a knot bigger than my head, bro. I never seen a nigga with that much money in his hand. I was just like, bro, what is you doing? And the nigga told me what it was, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like Florida, like when it kind of getting money, they real monkey see, monkey do. Like whatever, like you would see one nigga do, if it worked for him, everybody jump on that wave. So it's like, you could think about like Tampa, back in the day, they was big on the drops. That was like the tax fraud that was going on. Once they found out about it, everybody did that. That PPP shit came through, the unemployment, whatever was going on a couple years ago, everybody did it. Even with now, like, you know, it's a dog world. Everybody fucking with the Fed because they see the next nigga doing it and they ain't even ready for the consequences that come with that. Or even with the bud game, you know what I'm saying? They done took all the flavor out of that shit because everybody want to sell the same shit. Like they see one nigga selling bub, now the whole Florida sell bub. It's just like monkey see, monkey do, and that was the wave back then. I don't know where it started. I just know I was seeing it, and like everybody was on it.
The breaking and entering, are you guys going to houses that no one's home at? Like, are you guys making sure it's not a violent type of act?
I mean, it just depends. Like we done did it both ways. You know, the majority of the time nobody beat up, but if it just depend on the potential of the lick. You know what I'm saying? We not going in there with people in there for TVs and laptops. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a situation where we feel like we could really stain, you know, we kind of like take it a little further.
How to make you feel going into one of these houses? Like, did you live off the adrenaline, or are you just solely looking at it for monetary purposes?
Solely looking at it for monetary purposes, but I mean, yeah. I just used to be numb to it. You know what I'm saying? And then like I kind of had beef with the world because I'm watching my mama struggle. Nobody gave a fuck about her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I used to have a mentality like, cause I used to have a mentality like I didn't feel like anybody was sympathizing for our situation. Like I didn't feel like I could go to somebody and be like, hey, this is what I'm going through and have them help us. You know what I'm saying? And I don't look at like capitalism like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they kind of teach us that money more important than people. And a lot of the things that America did to get on, all they did like was cutthroat, it was fucked up, and then all they did was take what they did to get on and make it illegal because they know how effective it is. You know what I'm saying? So if I looked at a situation and I felt like you was on the other side of the struggle, I didn't think about it too much. You know what I'm saying? The situation that got me to leave it alone, we was kind of like in a nicer neighborhood, like a white neighborhood. So like I'll kind of be assuming that these be like silver spoon and they didn't struggle and they had it good. And then like we get in the house and it's like we taking all these people's stuff, and then I look up and I see a picture and it's actually a black lady with 5 kids. And I ain't even see a man in the picture. So it kind of like looked like she was a single black mother with 5 kids. And when I looked at it, because my mama got 7 kids. And when I looked at it, I just thought about like how hard my mama struggled, and I was thinking about what this lady must have done to be able to overcome all that on her own and actually have this home and have these things. And like the situation made it realer. Like I think I kind of like deluded myself into just thinking like all these people that I was doing this shit to were these rich, well-off people that never struggled, that had to work hard for nothing. They just had it easy. And like something about seeing that shit made me think about like how hard people work to get where they at. You know what I'm saying? And I left it alone then. That was when I was like 18.
It puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
How would you have felt if, someone robbed your house at that age?
It had happened before.
Someone robbed your house?
Yeah, and the police didn't do nothing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. That had happened to me before. You know what I'm saying? That happened to me before.
And what do you mean by the police didn't do anything?
I mean, they didn't do nothing. It didn't. I mean, in a way, like I don't really think they could do anything, but they also didn't seem like they wanted to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like we called them, they came because of like more out of obligation, like they have to come, and they just and it ain't even just one time. That shit happened more than one time. I remember one time I had a spot and I had just left. And at the time, it was me, my homegirl, and my homeboy. We all was splitting it. I had just left. And I think because she had just got there and then my dog was out of town and then I left. So I think they thought the house was empty or something like that. So they ended up running in there. But my homegirl was still there. So when they ran in, they had guns. They pistol whipped her and took all kind of shit. And then it's like, none of us was heavy in the drug game at that time, bro. I think it was an ounce of weed in the house because the girl liked to smoke. So like when the police came, they was like, oh, well, we feel like this is drug related. I'm like, nah, it's not drug related. You know what I'm saying? Like the dudes that ended up, that was behind it, they knew I was involved in music and they was involved in music. And what they ended up taking was a bunch of studio equipment. They took like the Apple computers, the microphones, the speakers, all that type of shit. That's what they came in there for. So I keep trying to tell him it's not drug related, and he just wasn't trying to hear it. And then like they said all this stuff about they was gonna do an investigation after the fact and check for fingerprints and whoop the whoop. And like once they got up out of there, I never heard from the people again. You know what I'm saying? So even with me, like, I don't know, like I'm just so used to charging shit to the gang, because it's like when you from the struggle all, like when you from the bottom, I feel like you kind of see the real. Like, how to describe it? Like, you see how much people just don't give a fuck. Because it's like when you from the bottom, a lot of times you can't hold people accountable. And then, like, a lot of times, too, like, if you somebody who has something going, people have an incentive to be nice to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even with me now, like, I got success in the music game, so it's like people want to give me clothes and people want to, like, shout me out and do all these different nice things for me because they feel like I might be able to give them access to the game, or like maybe like if they fuck with me and I fuck with them, I could turn them up. But they didn't act like this before. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like when you kind of got something going, people treat you better than when you have nothing going on at all. Like when you can't benefit somebody at all, and like there's no gain or there's no way for them to personally gain from it. They'll give it to you blood raw. They'll tell you straight to your face, fuck you. So it's just like growing up, I got that a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it affected my mentality, like, and it's like even like just in school, like I always had the least. I always didn't, you know what I'm saying? I never had no money. Always came to school fucked up. So I'm coming to school fucked up, and people will tell me straight up like, your pants don't like your pants a different color black from your shirt. Boy, you need to get your hair cut. What the fuck you came here looking like that for? But like when you the popular nigga or the pretty girl, don't nobody say that. Even if something is wrong with you, it's because they want to be in good standing and good standing with you because they might have a crush on you or they might want to hang out with you or whatever the case may be. They'll sugarcoat it. I never got that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like everything was always blood raw, and I understood at an early age, like, how this shit go out here. You know what I'm saying? And, it's cutthroat. Even though, like, me personally, I prefer to stay on the righteous side of things. But I'm aware of the fact that everybody not on that, and, like, a lot of times, being a good guy come with rules. If you the good guy, there's certain things you can't do. If you the bad guy, then there's no limitation on what you can do. So like the bad guy always got the advantage over the good guy. That's why you see a lot of like, cutthroat people end up on top. So it's just on you to figure out how you gonna navigate it.
Do you think you're the good guy or the bad guy?
I feel like I'm the good guy. Like I said, I prefer to be on the righteous side of things, but it's like one of them ends justify the means type shit. I can get down through though if need be. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm never gonna be the one to initiate foul play. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't nothing I'm intimidated by either.
How did your mom react to you getting arrested at such a young age?
I feel like it was traumatic for her. But like, at the same time, my mama a soldier. Like I feel like I get a lot of this shit from her. Like my mama never been like a criminal or nothing like that. But she just big on principle and she stand on business with everything. She's still a rebel. You know what I'm saying? There's just certain shit that she instilled in me. And it got a lot to do with how I navigate out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, when I was first getting fucked up, bro, like I feel like it took a toll on her. But I was just trying to find my way, you feel me? Like I feel like that's something that I'm grateful for now that I done find, like kind of like figure this shit out enough to where I don't gotta put her through that.
What did she instill in you? What was those principles?
I mean, honestly, like my mama a very black and white person, you know what I'm saying? So it's like everything is like me, I'm a truthful person. I always tell the truth. I try my best never to contradict myself. I try my best to stand on principles. Like that's why like, you know what I'm saying, just certain shit like I'm not gonna tell on nobody. I'm not gonna backdoor none of my partners. You feel me? Like I'm just like that's why like I was saying before, like I feel like I'm on the righteous side of things. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to the street shit, because you got niggas that's in the streets that's on all bullshit. You got niggas who tell it. You got niggas who backdoor their partners. You got niggas who, you feel me, like, how to describe? I see a lot of that shit going on right now, bro, where I feel like people are gravitating towards whatever is the most sensational. So it's like a lot of times when you doing things the right way, that shit can be a little boring. That shit can be, you know what I'm saying? It ain't always like, so it's like when you got people that's just like saying crazy shit, doing foolish things. You know what I'm saying? Like you see it, like niggas like uploading all the guns and shit on social media, shooting music videos or doing interviews, just talking crazy and telling on themselves because they want some attention. Like that's the type of shit that I feel like I was raised not to be on. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do it the harder way. And like that's why I be feeling like everything happened for a reason, because that was something you said earlier. I can't think of what it was, but it's like for me, I had been doing music and I was having success with it, but like what really turned me up was, like I said before, the situation that ended up putting me in the feds. So before I went to the feds, I ended up, getting caught with $1 million worth of drugs and guns and all this crazy shit. The police took my jewelry, they took pictures of the jewelry, they posted evaluations of it and all that. So the news clip went viral. I started seeing a news clip all over my city. I started seeing a news clip on Funkmaster Flex, motherfucking DJ Academics, all these other big platforms, World Star. And then I was just like, damn, okay, if they feel like this situation is crazy, it'll be even crazier if, I incorporate it into my music. So, I shoot the music video and I put a news clip at the beginning of it. After the news clip go off, because everybody thought I was gone. Everybody thought I was in jail. They didn't know I was out on bond. So, like, I'm going on Facebook, just like locally in my city, and I'm seeing all these people that I know, went to school with, whatever, just talking about me as if I was gone. It was like an unreal experience, dog. It's almost like, I like when somebody passed away, everybody will like go on social media, say whatever about him. Like, damn, I remember we went to 5th grade together. Or I remember he used to be in my inbox trying to talk to me and different shit like that. So when the news clip came out, that's how people were talking about me, bro. It was an out-of-body experience. It was almost like I was reading what people would say about me if I was gone for real.
Yeah.
So nobody really knew I was out. So when I ended up shooting the video, and it's like the news clip at the beginning, and then the opening scene is me sitting on the couch looking at myself on the news, and then I just go to take it off. I'm talking my shit. Next thing you know, like, the video going viral. I'm on the phone with Epic Records. I'm on the phone with Alamo Records. All these different record labels like was showing interest in me and shit like that. And I brought that up to say this. That situation made it to where I had eyes on me. It gave me the viral aspect without having to do any of the goofy shit that I don't believe in. I was able to be myself, bro. I was just able to like be consistent with like the way that I move and the shit that I believe in. I never had to like go that route. That's why I say like earlier when you was like, would I do it any differently? I wouldn't really do it differently because it go together. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, this is where I wanted to be, and I wanted to get here a certain way. And without that situation, I don't know if I'd be here.
You know what's so interesting about what you said about that out-of-body experience is that, so I was in the feds and I had got my bond revoked and went to prison, and then when I finally got to my destination, like 3 or 4 months later after being in holding and whatnot and in transit, I got a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I go on that cell phone and I go back on Facebook to the news post from when I got my bond revoked.
Yeah.
And that shit is like reading what all your friends from high school, because I experienced that when I first got indicted, like when you felt that and I got released and everyone thought I was gone because the feds say you're away for, 100, you're facing 120 years. But for me to see that months later, it was such a surreal experience. And you also know when who your true friends are, because everyone talks shit when you're not able to respond.
Real shit, bro. It was crazy, bro. Like, because I remember when the news article first came out, like, I just wasn't expecting it, bro. Like, I expected me to be on the news because I come from a small city. They put down anything on the news. But, like, the way that they sensationalized it, and then even how thorough they was with the investigation, it was shit about my case that I learned from reading that article. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, bro, I hope nobody else see this shit. I don't know. I remember thinking like that, like, I hope nobody else see this shit. And then that bitch just gradually went to taking off, and it was like wildfire, bro. It was out of control.
Now tell us what the headline said.
It said, damn, what did it say? We could probably look it up.
I think it said something like you were caught with 230 or 40 pounds. And then $100-something thousand for the cash.
$158,000 cash, $55,000 diamond watch. And this is like...
Now, 230 pounds of weed, what's that translation into street money? That's like over $1 million.
Yeah, it's like, it's different now. It's different now, but like back then, like, I was letting them go for like 3,200. We could just say 3,000. So 230, what that would be, like 690K, something like that.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So like, like the police don't be knowing nothing. They don't know what's going on in the streets. They had them bitches at 5,000 a piece. That's why they say over $1 million. But at the same time, that was just one flip. You feel me? Like that was routine for me.
To have that many pounds on you at one time.
To go in on that many, yeah.
And you keep it all at your house? Like, how'd you get busted? Where was all that stuff at?
What's so crazy is like I don't keep it at my house. I used to keep it at my cousin's house. I had a female cousin. She had a situation where her and her baby daddy were going through it. You know what I'm saying? So he put his hands on her. We ended up getting her from around her. And then I would pay the bills and she would let me like hold shit though. So my cousin ended up meeting a new dude online from California. And, they fell in love, whatever, you know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, she telling me that she leaving. And it was kind of like out the blue. So the only reason that I even had all that stuff over there was because my cousin moved to California with her new dude, you know what I'm saying? But like that's why I be saying like everything kind of happened for a reason, because it's like if that didn't happen, if she didn't move, I probably still would have got caught, but I wouldn't have got caught with as much money and jewelry. And the money and jewelry is what I think made the article enticing. That's what made everybody jump on my trail and start being interested in me. So it's almost like just on some divine shit. It's like it's a good thing that I got caught with more. Because if I don't get caught with as much, the story ain't as sensational and this rap shit don't open up for me. You know what I'm saying? I would have just went to jail.
How do you go from the rock game to weed? Because you would have got a lot more time had you been into harder drugs.
I mean, for me, you just gotta be realistic. Like, you just gotta be realistic, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at that time, like I knew a lot of niggas that was in that lane and they wasn't really making money, bro. Like, I'm gonna do whatever yield the best results. It's like I just was ahead of the curve, bro. Like I had a homeboy at the time, and my homeboy was cool with a white boy that ended up moving from St. Pete to Humboldt, California. So anybody familiar with Humboldt know that's like the weed capital of the world, bro. And like when he went over there and he was telling us these numbers, the shit just seemed fake. Even him saying he could send it in the mail, that shit just seemed fake. I never heard of none of that. I never heard of these numbers. I never heard of no shit coming in the mail. So like my dog said he wanted to fuck with it, and I was skeptical, you feel me? But I seen him do it and it happened. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm used to maybe spending, like I was spending like the same number I was y'all. You spend like $3,200 on a pound, bro. And like I would be out this bitch maybe like making $400 or $500 off of a pound, and I would have to break it all the way down, and I'd have to grind it out all week just to get 2 or 3 of them bitches off. And then I go from that to like getting a pound for like $1,500, $1,600, and then I'll pull up on a nigga and he'll spend $3,200 on a pound and be happy about it because for him it's cheap and for him it's gas. And then I just made $1,600 for shaking a nigga hand, like, and that's all for one. I had niggas that would buy 5. I had niggas that would buy 10. I had, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a nigga might pull up on me by 10. I make $16,000 for shaking a nigga hand. It just got out of control, bro. Like it was coming in, bro.
What were you doing with that money?
All kind of shit, dog. I had a clothing line that I was pushing that had traction in the city. I had a promotion company, like where we would book rappers to come to the city in different clubs. And then, I had a record label. So, like, I was making music. I had a neo soul artist that was making music, an R&B artist that was making music. So, like, I had different hustles lined up. And I was hanging out, bro. Like, I was breaking bread with all the promoters in my city. Like I done been to every club, I done blessed every stripper, you know what I'm saying? And like just everybody hustle. Like it was crazy to me because like I went to jail. And by the time I came home, a lot of people in my area had started taking off in whatever their individual lane was. And a big part of why I had such an initial surge when I came out of support was because back in the days, like before they kind of like took off, and I had money, I would do shit like buy a local rapper's mixtape for $50. You know what I'm saying? Or like niggas that make beats, everybody want to get the beats for free, and I buy a nigga beat for $300, $400. Like I was just always supporting people in my area. I was always breaking bread. So it's like with me, yeah, that's what it was about. Like I was pushing the line with my individual businesses and brands and hustles. I was hanging out and I was supporting like the people in the area that's trying to make. Cause like when you doing anything creative and you trying to monetize it, I feel like the money is the validation. When let's say you do concrete or you do landscaping, like bro, you getting paid that day. Like if I'm gonna cut your grass, I'm getting paid that day. But when you a photographer, when you a podcaster, a rapper, a producer, it's hard to get to the money. Everybody want to work, but they want to work for free. And it's like, you know, the people at the top of the food chain, like let's say, I don't know, Rick Ross or Timberland or, you know, whoever. They get paid because their music is connecting. So it's almost like the money is the validation. That's what separate like the wannabes from the actual, I feel like people feel like that's what separate the wannabes from the legit people that's really making music, that's connecting, that belong here. So I always like to pay people, bro. I just always like to pay people because I felt like it gave them the validation they were looking for, and it would keep them motivated and keep them going.
Yeah, those individuals you're talking about, like us creatives, our money that we make now is from work we did years ago.
Exactly.
And months ago. Unless you're doing like a club appearance and you're getting paid, which technically is...
It's still the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Because you had to build up your platform to where they felt like, okay, if I throw a dog on a fly, he gonna bring enough heads out for me to make something.
Yeah, like in the podcast game, I didn't get my first advertiser for, almost a year.
Yeah,
you have to build that, and then the socials grow, and then they start to, pick up wildfire. But it's a grind, man. It took me 2 years just to get to 70,000 on Instagram. It's a grind.
That's why I say what I say, like, bro, like, 'cause I used to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I used to like record, and I used to be outside of Bethel Heights and Yoda Studio, just like putting shit down. And then I take the little shit I recorded, put it on a CD, and I'll be standing in front of the corner store for like 2 hours. Just running down on niggas. Like the A-Rail used to be like, okay, you can't holler at them when they going in the store. Wait till they come out the store. Like he want to make sure they spend their money with him first. And it kind of worked for me because they'll go in there and spend their money. A lot of times they'll come out with change. So they might have $3, $4, whatever, bitch, I'm running down. And I'll just be like, my name is, back then my name wasn't Nino Breeze. My name was the Boy Spades. Like my name the Boy Spades, you know what I'm saying? I'm a local rapper, whatever. And I'd be like, I want to spit a 16 for you. If you're fucking with it, like, cop my mixtape. And I just do that shit every Friday and Saturday trying to get my shit out there. So I was familiar with the grind, and I was familiar with people, like, balling up their face and walking away and just chomping a nigga, you feel me? So anytime I seen a nigga doing that, bro, I made sure I bless the game. I'm going to hit your hand. And, yeah, bro, like, that shit just came back tenfold.
It comes back full circle.
Yeah, bro, like this shit done, it's years of accumulation.
Now,
like, going on right now.
Walk us through that day you got busted, when you got arrested.
I mean, it felt like a regular day. Felt like a regular day. See, like what I didn't know, the nigga that ended up telling on me, he was familiar with my situation. Like he knew that I was a felon. And because I'm a felon, I can't ever get approved to stay nowhere nice. Like every time I try to apply, like for some nice apartments or a nice house, they do the background check, I get denied. So I always had to get my spots in females' names. So the apartment that I was staying in, it was in a female name. And, you know, me and bro hadn't been seeing eye to eye for a minute because he was acting weird. The whole time he was acting weird, he was actively trying to sink niggas. Like, he was trying to tell on other people, but they wouldn't let him in their game room enough for him to really do it. You know what I'm saying? So him telling on me was something that he resorted to. So he started off, he trying to tell on other niggas, I'm not really peeping game, he just acting funny. So I kind of like distance myself. My conscience say like, damn, bro, that's your nigga, you feel me? You need to fix that. So I reach out to him like, hey, bro, I just got a new crib, you feel me? I'm staying out here. I was trying to do like something like a housewarming party, and I invited him. So once he knew where I was staying and he knew who my lady was, you know, he know the spot in her name. A couple days later, this shit pop off. So, you know, I'm moving around, I'm doing my 1-2 like I usually do. And, you know, I'm getting them bitches in the mail. So I had a few of them touch down that day. I had them touching down in Sarasota, South St. Pete, different little areas. So, like, the girl who caught one from me in Sarasota, we were supposed to meet up at the mall. I leave from my shit, I go to the mall, we get something to eat, you know what I'm saying, and then I'm coming back. And when I'm coming back, that's when they ended up putting me under surveillance, but I'm not knowing it. So I'm catching my motion. I had like I had a couple plays like around where I was at. So they surveyed me making those plays. Then I went out of the realm of surveillance because I went to the hood. But when I went to the hood, I ended up coming back with a box because one of my dogs had it for me. So I get back to my spot, I'm walking up to the apartment with the box. And, you know, you got to use like a key fob to get in my apartments. Either that or you got to punch in a code and it'll call like somebody that stay there and they'll let you in. So I get to the door, I get to the little gate and I'm getting ready to come in and it's like a white dude that's on the phone. He like, yeah, man, I keep punching in this code, this shit ain't working. Like, he talking on the phone. I'm like, don't worry about it, I got you. So I hold up my key fob to open the door and then the white dude grabbed me. So when he grabbed me, like, I tighten up, like I'm about ready to fight because I don't know what he got going on. But as he grabbing me, he keeps saying, police, 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 police. And then, like, I start looking around, and police was coming at me everywhere from out of the bushes and all this different shit, bro. I didn't see none of them. I didn't see this shit coming at all, bro. I didn't have no sixth sense or I had a feeling. It wasn't none of that, bro. I got blindsided, bitch. So, you know, they detained me. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on because it's like, I know the bosses that I got on me got weed and shit, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. They put me in the back of the police car and they showing me pictures of the inside of my house and they saying that they waiting on getting a warrant from a judge so that they can search it. And I guess they ended up sending the maintenance man in there once they got the tip. And, you know, it's a lot of dirty shit that went on with that, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of ways that I could have fought it because what I ended up going to prison for was, you know, felon in possession of a firearm, and I also got a 924C. So 924C is using a gun in the furtherance of a drug trafficking offense. So what they say is if you got a gun within arm's reach of the drugs, you're using the gun to protect the drugs. But I didn't have a gun on me. I didn't have a gun in my car. I didn't have a gun on me. Y'all just watch me make plays. I have a gun in my house because that's where I lay my head. But I don't sell drugs out of there. Not only that, but the maintenance man, when he took his picture, he put everything in my house together. So you can't say where I had a gun. He put it all together so he could take this picture. And it's even like certain pictures where shit is in different places, like where you can see he was rearranging it. So like I felt like I stood a good chance at trial, but like, bro, my charge carried 5 years to life. So it's like, that's a big ass range. It's like you can get 5 years or you can get life. They could give me 20 years and say they spared me, you know what I'm saying? And just me being familiar with the system, though, I done seen niggas go to trial and get fucked over, so I just like, I knew I could do 5 years, so I took it.
So they gave you a 5-year plea deal?
Yeah, 5 years, but it was 5 years consecutive to 18 months. Because with the 924C, you get 5 years consecutive, not concurrent. Consecutive to whatever you're supposed to get. The actual charges only carried 18 months.
Because it was the weed charges.
Yeah, the weed and the guns only carried 18 months. but they gave me 5 years consecutive to that. So I had to do 5 years for the 924C and then do the 18 months.
All in the feds or feds and then state?
All in the fed.
All in the feds.
It started off a state case and then it went fed.
Why did the feds decide to pick it up?
I have no idea.
Because you weren't going interstate, like traveling across the lines, or?
I don't lie, like in my city at that time, I think the feds, see, like the way that the feds work, like they'll come to a city, bro. Like they'll just have a presence in a city for a while. A lot of niggas was going fed at that time. Like it's a lot of niggas catching them same cases right now. They not going fed. As a matter of fact, St. Pete right now got beef with the feds. It seemed like it's been like a couple of big drug busts that done happened back to back to back. And these niggas not going fed. Like back in the day, they would have went fed. They not going fed because they feel like the feds is too lenient. And the feds, it's like they is, but they ain't. Like the feds ain't lenient unless you're cooperating. If you cooperated the feds, you can get away with down there anything. You got Sammy the Bull, he confessed to 30-something murders. They gave him 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the feds ain't necessarily, I don't feel like they motivated by justice. They just want
the conviction and a deal.
They want a conviction, you know what I'm saying?
The feds are more willing to make a deal is what I've learned.
Yeah, so and I seen it. Like I seen niggas get 30 years and go home because of cooperation. Versus in the state, it doesn't do as much for you. So the state like in St. Pete, they haven't been giving the cases to the feds. But like back then, cause like when I went to the county, bro, like everybody had the same case as me. Everybody had a 924C. Everybody had whatever individual drug they were selling, whether it was weed or hard or pills, whatever drug they were selling, and a gun. And they would get a 924C where they had to do 5 years consecutive or whatever the minimum mandatory was for the drugs they had. The whole wing I was in, they had me in Delta. Like the whole pod though, out of everybody that was in there, we all had the same charges, 924C, 924C, 924C.
Where'd they end up sending you for federal prison?
They ended up sending me to Coleman FCC, the biggest correctional complex in the Fed.
And that was a low security prison.
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like for you? Was it worse than you expected, better than you expected? You had served time in the state before.
I mean, to me, it was easy, bro. Like doing time. Unfortunately, I'm a convict. So it's like I done did a lot of time. Like that shit, you get used to it, and the way you get good at it. Like you start learning like how to cope with it, or how to make time pass, or even how to make your time count. You know what I'm saying? So I had a support system while I was in there. I was always in touch with people on the streets. I never got like lost in the system. I stayed focused. I was always reading and educating myself. I was working out. I was writing music. You know what I'm saying? And, I did a good amount of networking in there because, it's federal prison. So it's kind of like, it ain't what it used to be. It's watered down. Like, it ain't just strictly big players in the feds. It's watered down. There's a lot of, like, niggas that's in the way in there, too. But the players still in there. And, I had made enough of a name for myself on the streets to where when I would cut into different dudes from different areas that had shit going before they fell, or even maybe like while they was in there or was coming home to different situations, we locked in, we exchanged info. And yeah, bro, like it got a lot to do with what's going on now, because I actually, while I was in the feds, it was a dude named Kano. Kano is a Haitian nigga from Brooklyn that moved to Miami. So back in the day, it was this shit that was going on with all the Zoes, all the Haitians, where they was calling them pirates. They was like running on the boats, and like the boats would have bricks on them and different shit like that, and the Haitians would run on the boats and take everything. So, you know what I'm saying? Kano was involved in that. And something that went down where it was a dude that had a situation. He ended up folding on Kano, and he told him, like, okay, they got this and that on this boat. We need to rush this boat. And when Kano went to rush the boat, the feds waiting for him. It was never no drugs or nothing. It's a, damn, I can't think of what that's called. But it's like, they call it like a stash house robbery, and they actually trying to like, it's a lot of people fighting that in the federal system right now. So they trying to say like it's a fucked up case or it's like a fucked up law. They trying to like get niggas back on that or like make it where the police can't do it no more. But like dog actually ended up falling a victim to that. So he was in the feds the same time I was in the feds. And before he fell, he was locked in with Ross. He was locked in with MMG. You know what I'm saying? Like he one of like Kano's right hand. He's one of Ross's right hand man. So when I met him in there, he was like a chain gang. He was like a prison Suge Knight or prison like Birdman or something like that. Like he would have all these different rappers that wanted to be up under him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, cause he managed rappers on the street, so he was doing the same thing in there. So everybody was like, boy, you need to meet Kano. You need to meet Kano. So I ended up meeting him. You know what I'm saying? And we vibing and shit. We went in the laundry room because that's like the only quiet place in the dorm where you could kind of like beat on the table and do your little shit. So it's like I'm beating on the table, I'm taking off, and he was fucking with my music. So like we been locked in since the chain gang. And when I came home and I started like making music, like I remember I did a First Day Out song, the first song I released when I got out. And Rick Ross ended up finding it on a blog page and he commented on it with like the flame emojis. So then like I ended up hitting my partner Kano like, hey bro, Ross just commented on my shit. He was like, oh yeah? Next thing I know, he telling me to come to Miami so I can meet Ross. And this was in 2022. That's when I first went to Miami. I met Ross at Club 11. We were vibing and shit, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't all in with the music at that time. So by 2024, that's when I really locked in and I was dropping music consistently. I'm doing shows back to back. I'm moving around, and it's like once Ross seen that, and I also had like a single that he was fucked up about, but like once he seen the hustle, you feel me? Like once he seen the focus, that's what made him decide to make me part of the fold. But at the same time, that don't happen without Kano. And I don't meet Kano if I don't go to the feds.
Holy shit. Yeah, if you never went to prison, you wouldn't be signed to Rick Ross.
Exactly.
Dude, that's incredible.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why, like, when you asked me that question earlier, no, I wouldn't change nothing, all this shit.
But see, that's why that's so important, though, because you look at that question and the audience listens and they hear your answer, but then they learn more about you and they realize why you say that answer.
Yeah.
I think that evolution is so fascinating.
Definitely, bro. I was in B4. Kano was in B3. He was in the dorm next to me. All he had to do was walk across the hall and we was right there, you feel me? So, yeah, bro, if I never go to Coleman, I never meet Kano. I never lock in with MMG. If I never caught that case, and then even with catching the case, if I would have like went to suck around or told or something like that, cause like when the police had me in the back of the car, they said I didn't have to go to jail. They were like, don't go to telling all your homeboys you got locked up. If you tell all your homeboys you got locked up, you're no good to us. Like they wanted me to keep it tucked, you feel me? That way I could still get round niggas and sink them. But I didn't play it like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like after a month went by of me not cooperating, they just randomly put me on the news. Cause I feel like if I would have cooperated, they never would have exposed me like that. So it's like even with me catching the case, if I tell, it goes different. Just everything like had to play out the way that it played out. Like that situation had to happen. I had to play it how I played it. Like if I would have went to the feds and I would have been a rat, Kano never would have fucked with me. Yeah. Like, I went in that bitch, my face with platinum. And that's why I was able to like cut in the niggas from different areas and lock in the way that I did because of that.
But also it's like the timing's impeccable. He happened to be there. Like the stars aligned.
Everything, yeah.
And Rick Ross happened to see it and wow.
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's a misconception about rappers who went to prison, like the Rick Rosses of the world and individuals like that?
What you mean?
Like a stigma, like people feel like maybe a rapper that had went to prison, because there's a lot of them who are successful, they might think that, because they went to prison, they're still involved in that life. Like someone could look at you and search those articles and see you as a rapper, and they might put the two and two together, like people stereotype. Do you feel like that happens to you?
Yeah, but I mean that's I just had a situation with that. But that's bigger than the rap shit, dog. That's a way deeper issue. That just come with being black, and then a lot of times, especially if you black and you got a certain type of swag to you. You know what I'm saying? I just had a situation so we had back-to-back hurricanes in St. Pete. We had Hurricane Helene and we just had Hurricane Milton. So before Hurricane Milton, we had Hurricane Helene. I was out of town working. So I get back to the city, you know what I'm saying, and I'm riding around listening to music because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'll ride around listening to music. I'll be vibing or whatever. My chick hit me up and she like, what you doing? I said, I'm riding around. I asked her if she wanted to come. She was like, it sound like fun. So I ended up scooping her. And we end up, you know, kind of like cruising by the beach. And we just listening to old music, old Rich Homie, because he had just passed away. So we listening to music, we vibing and shit. We end up on the beach. So I guess with the beach, that's the area that took the most damage because it's right there by the water. So when houses got flooded, they had to take their property out of their house and they sat it in their front yard. So it's like people don't got power, so people don't got alarm systems, people don't got cameras, they got their property sitting in the front yard. People did a lot of stealing. People went to looting, you know what I'm saying? So now the police is in these areas trying to prevent people from looting. So I'm out here in this area. They see my car, they decide to get behind me. I didn't do anything illegal. My license was good, my registration was up to date. Every time I made a stop, I came to a complete stop, used my turning signal, seatbelt was on, but they felt like I was out of place. So they flashed their lights, they get behind me. I got my ID hanging out the window like this here. The lady officer, she grab it, she go back to the car. And I'm just thinking that she finna run my shit and send me on my way because I know everything legit. But when she come back to my car, she was like, what are you on probation for? And I was just like, I'm definitely not on probation for riding around the beach with my girls. You know what I'm saying? So then she was like, yeah, she's like, what are you on probation for? You don't belong here. She kept saying, you don't belong here. I'm like, what you mean I don't belong here? I've been living here my whole life. She's like, where do you live? I said, I live in St. Pete. She's like, this St. Pete Beach. I'm like, bro, that's like going to the store, the shit down the street. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you saying I don't belong here because I'm black? She's like, nah, it's not that. And I was like, well, why you ain't pulling nobody else over? She's like, because I'm busy with you. I already got you pulled over.
And this is a white cop.
This is a white lady officer, bro. And then she was like, so, like, we asked her, like, is the beach closed? Because they had it closed. They had it where you couldn't even go there. She was like, no. Then she was like, well, yes and no. You shouldn't be here this time of night. So we was like, dude, is there a curfew? And then she was like, no. And then she got mad at the girl that I was with for asking questions. She made her get out the car. She didn't even have no clothes on. She took the girl ID. And then, like, she come back to the car for the third time. She asked me to get out. She asked me what I'm on probation for again, so I tell her, like, I'm on probation for weed and guns. I'm not on probation for stealing out of people's front yard. And then she was like, keep being lippy with me and I'm going to take you to jail for loitering and prowling. I literally asked her, what's the definition of loitering and prowling, because I never heard of the crime. And she like, that's it. And had the male officers put me in handcuffs.
She had other cops with her, too?
Yeah.
And
they were like 5 cars deep.
Were any of those other officers standing up for you at all?
Nah, but they wasn't on it like she was though. Mm-hmm. She was the only one that was just super turned. You know what I'm saying? Like just on some bullshit. But like that just go to show like the profile of like, cause she didn't know who I was. She didn't know I was a rapper or nothing. I had $50,000 worth of jewelry on. I'm fresher than a bitch. I got a girl in the passenger seat in her pajamas. Bro, I'm not out here looting. I don't got no gloves on. I'm not dirty. I'm not sweating or breathing heavy. None of that. You know what I'm saying? She knew within the first 2 seconds of looking at my car, that's not what I was doing. But because she looked me up and she seen that I was on probation and I got this service swag with the gold teeth and all that stuff, it just puts it in a different space. So I wouldn't even pin it on just the rap shit, bro. I feel like it's a way deeper problem than that.
And what ends up happening? Do they bring you to jail or they let you go?
Yeah, they took me to jail.
They took you to jail for what?
They took me to jail for loitering and prowling, even though I never got out the car.
So how'd that affect your probation? Did you get that?
Bro, I was supposed to get off of probation. Like, you know, I got 5 years of probation. Mm-hmm. My 50% mark was September 28th. This happened the first week of October. It actually happened the exact day that my probation officer said whoever his supervisor is or whatever is going to make a decision on my shit. They were telling me like 2 to 14 days from that day that I went to jail, I would have got off probation.
To file the motion and everything to get you off that.
Yeah, so now, because of that, I can't get off probation. And if I get convicted, I'm not getting off probation. If I beat it, I can still get off. But we until this case is resolved, I can't really say what's going to happen.
So are they going to violate you for that or no? Because it's a misdemeanor?
If I get convicted, they will violate me.
And,
if I beat it, it's no violation.
But it probably won't be a major violation.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to prison, but I don't think I'd be able to get early termination no more.
It's crazy.
I'd have to do the full 5 years. I'd have to do another 2.5 years on probation if I was convicted, which I don't believe is going to happen. Yeah. Even on my criminal complaint, there's nothing illegal that I did, even all the way down to a traffic violation. I don't even got a ticket.
Are you going to fight it?
Definitely going to fight it.
Wow.
I got a legal team. I don't fuck off.
What about the music industry? How do they, like agents and labels and stuff, how do they treat you with a felony? Do they care?
I mean, it hasn't really came into play yet, but you know, I haven't reached. I don't know how to describe it. It's like this, bro. Even though I'm signed with MMG, we still treat it like I'm independent. Like there don't be no, like even this situation right here. This is something that happened off the script for me. This ain't something that the label lined up. It's just like me having my ear to the streets. I know, like, okay, like bro, be doing the interviews, and I like your interviewing style. So I was like, this was just something that I wanted to do. So it's like, if I want to do something, I can do it. Ain't nobody regulating my move. They got the plays they turn me on to. I got plays that I come up with myself, and we just put it together. It still feels independent. Like Ross ain't babysitting a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like he a player. We just doing this shit.
I feel like it's better that way. Like I don't like when like the labels reach out, because then you don't know what you're getting into. Like you're just doing it to do an interview. Like it's not because you want to genuinely be here with that person, you know? Then your head's not in it.
Yeah, that ain't what's going on, bro. Like pretty much like he let me know what plays he got going on. Like, hey, I'm finna shoot here, I'm finna shoot there. If you wanna fuck with it, you can. But if I got other shit going on, I can fuck with that. And then we just put it together. And so far, there hasn't been any label push behind my motion. Everything has been just like muscle, you feel me? Like him saying, hey, fuck with Nino Breeze, and me saying, hey, fuck with this. You know what I'm saying? It ain't been, no label ain't pushed no button and got me on like no big playlist or got me no really big looks. Everything just be like, okay, Ross got a relationship with this person, he gonna make a call. I got a relationship with that person, I'm gonna make a call. And we put it together. So at least thus far I ain't ran into nothing. But I kind of feel like right now we doing what need to be done for me to get there. So I would have to see what happens when you get to that level where you dealing with the super corporate, super squeaky clean. You know what I'm saying? That ain't really what I've been running. I haven't been dealing with much of that yet.
And I feel like there comes a certain point though where they can't not, avoid you. Like when you get to that level, as long as like you're not doing something that's going to get you canceled, like your cases for guns and drugs, no one got hurt. You know.
And the shit that tripped me out about that is the drug is marijuana, which they have legitimate facilities all over the country to sell the marijuana, and then the guns, I didn't have them out there with me when I was. Y'all just watch me sell drugs. I didn't have a gun then. I had a gun where I lay my head because if anybody manages to get in here, I need to defend myself. So it's like we have the right to bear arms in America.
Well, not as a felon, but...
And then you have the weed thing, and it's just like, I understand like you got to go through the proper channels when it comes to shit like that. I ain't saying that I'm exempt. But what I am saying is I just got a 7 to 8 month sentence for something that under the right conditions, you can legally do in America. You know what I'm saying? There's no way around it. Like cocaine is illegal, robbery is illegal, murder, rape, that's all illegal. With what I did, if you go through the proper channels, it's completely legal. So like for me to have to do 78 months in prison, then get out and have to do a year on house arrest and at a halfway house, then be on probation for another 5 years. I've been dealing with this situation since 2016.
It never ends, yeah.
Even though I done legitimized myself, even though I'm making, like, bro, I ain't gonna say the exact number, but I got a 7-figure contract, bro. Like, and they taking me to jail. I got a 7-figure contract. I'm right around my city, minding my business, and I go to jail for loitering and prowling, like I'm in bitches' front yard stealing like $20, $30 worth of shit, like some crackhead. It's like a crackhead charge. It doesn't make sense, but it's because they see me, they see my profile, they look me up, they see I'm on probation, and they, that now they go about it a certain way from now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a nigga want to put it behind them. And then when you think about, at least for me, when I think about, okay, not only am I going through all this to this day, and like if this petty little misdemeanor charge end up sticking, I'm gonna have to deal with it for another 2.5 years. So it wouldn't be until 2027. All this shit started in 2016. It wouldn't be over until 2027. That'll be 11 years that I've been dealing with this situation when it was weed and guns, which under the right circumstances, you can have both in America. They have marijuana illegal at a federal level, and it's been decriminalized in a lot of states. So it's like, like when you in the feds, like when you go to court, it don't say Vaughn Matthews versus the state of Florida. It says Vaughn Matthews versus the United States. How the hell am I going? How can you say Vaughn Matthews versus the United States when this drug isn't even criminalized in the entire country? It should already be a state case because I can't even get this case in California. I can't even get this case in D.C. I don't think I can get it in New York. They decriminalize it in New York.
It's decriminalized here and Connecticut.
That's what I'm saying. So how can you have it at a federal level if it's not illegal in the whole country?
But even with that, if they take away the weed charge for you, then you still were faced with the gun charge, right?
Yeah, but I only got 18 months for that. Because if you get rid of the 924C, which is using the gun in the furtherance of a drug trafficking offense, that's when you get rid of the majority. That's what got me to 5 years, and that's what got me from 3 years of probation to 5 years of probation.
Unless the feds had the feds could have hit you with felon in possession, right? Which would have been 5. Is that a mandatory or?
No. That's what I'm saying. I got felon in possession of a firearm. I got 18 months for that.
Oh, that was only 18 months. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times when you see dudes get a lot of time for guns, because I see every dude I seen get caught with a gun got way more time than me.
Yeah, I see like 5 years for felon in possession.
But it's like, if you actually look at the chart, I believe it's like a level 14 offense. But, the feds just got so many enhancements. Like if you got an extender.
Enhancement for everything.
If you got the serial number scraped off. Even mine, because my shit started off with 14 and went up to a 16 because I had 3 guns. So you got like more than one gun, you got an extender, you got a switch, you got a serial number peeled off. If it's stolen, or, you know what I'm saying, depending on your background, because they got the ACC, you get caught with a gun, you get 15 years. Mm-hmm. You can get caught with bullets and get 15 years. I think they get 15 years just for bullets. So usually, I don't know other dudes' situation, but for me, I started off at level 14 offense and went up to a level 16 because I had 3 guns. Usually you get 3 points off with like the admission of guilt and all that stuff. I only got 2 because my offense was already so small. They only gave me 2 levels off and it went back down to a 14. So I only got 18 months for the gun, bro.
So what's next for you? What do you have next on the horizon?
I mean, I've been recording. We already know what the next single gonna be. We already know what the next couple of singles gonna be, but we playing it by ear, bro. Like, whatever the momentum kind of feel like, if it feel like we need to do another single, if it feel like we need to do a mixtape, if it feel like it's album time, we going based off of the momentum. You know what I'm saying? So what's next for me, bro? Like I'm a beast with the rap shit. I ain't worried about that. Like whenever I get in that mode, it's that. So what I'm kind of like more what I feel like what's more the task for me right now is making that transition from the streets to this. So it's like, it's me getting comfortable in front of the camera, me getting comfortable on the stage, and like just me networking and building some relationships and just being all in, you feel me? Like if you look at Ross, he's polished. It's automatic, bro. Like I ain't never even seen that nigga do a video 2 times. That nigga pull out his phone, bro, and that nigga go to talking that shit is that. You know what I'm saying? That nigga get on that stage. He know how to work the crowd. He know how to include people. Like he'll see notable people in the crowd. He'll shout them out. He'll always, articulate certain things. Like when we was, we just came from doing the show with Wild 'N Out at the Barclays, and like he stopped in the middle of the show and gave Nick Cannon his flowers. He like, bro, this is history. Nobody thought you would make it this far. Woo woo. And he just, you know what I'm saying? He been doing it so long that it's automatic for him. And I'm trying to get it to where like I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? Because just coming from where I come from, you feel me? Like, it's kind of like green to be friendly. Like, I'm friendly ass nigga, niggas talking to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, So just getting out of my shell and just making that transition because I'm aware of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the music industry the most exclusive grind. Like, if you want to do anything else, you can kind of just show up every day and eventually it'll happen for you. And with this music shit, bro, you got to be chosen. Like, they got to like your music, they got to like your look, they got to like you. You got to have connections. And it's like, for me to be in this position, and as competitive as it is, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, even though I got other skills and I got other interests, it's people that's like, they live and breathe it. This is all they got. And you got to treat it like that. Because if you got a nigga that's going hard every day and you only giving it 20%, you going to get left behind. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it's about making that transition. The music is important. I ain't downplaying that. You know what I'm saying? That's actually the most important thing. But it's just like, I've been working on my craft my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've been past 10,000 hours with that shit. I've been working on my craft my whole life. So that's something that, like, the work needs to be done, but I'm 100% confident that I can create music that people fuck with. It's more like of navigating the industry and the politics and the promotion and coming up with content and doing things to make people gravitate towards the music. You know what I'm saying? So I say, you know, like, what's next? Like, bro, like I said, we playing it by ear, and I'm just focused on making that transition and becoming like, and like doing this shit full time, doing this shit for real.
I love it, man. Well, Nino, thank you so much, man, for coming out to Connecticut today, spending your Saturday with me,
sir,
and good luck with everything. And, you know, keep focused, keep grinding. You're off to a great start being on camera.
Well done.